Hey guys, happy Monday. So, we have another millionaire maker. I didn't even realize this when I made my video last night that there's another milli maker. So, yeah, I'm excited for this one. Ravens, Raiders, I think there's definitely some ways to get different value. A little bit harder to come by in the slate, but excited to talk about it. So, if you guys are just coming into the live stream, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any live streams like this. But yeah, this is again going to be a general Q&A live stream. Now, just to go over this really quick, the Ravens are not calling up Le'Veon Bell or Devontae Freeman, so they're going to have three running backs on their roster, right? Tyson Williams, Latavius Murray, and then Trent Cannon. So we don't have to worry about Le'Veon or Devontae Freeman getting any touches. Again, my best guess for that backfield is probably going to be somewhat of a split with Tyson Williams maybe getting a little bit more work since he's there. He's been on the roster for the longest. So. Yeah, let's see what we got here, guys. Gonna make sure to leave some questions in the chat. Hope for another good night. So far, it's been really solid for us in showdowns. Again, we had Van Jefferson, at least for Patreon member. Van Jefferson, like 13% ownership last slate, so that went really well. Patrick, good luck, everyone. Just want to wish everyone the best of luck. Yeah, let's get it, man. Let's hope to keep. I know you had a really good day yesterday, so hopefully you keep that going for the show on site if you're playing it. Max out the 100. Need a big win with you. Oh, nice. Happy early birthday, Brandon. Let's see. Thinking about going with Ruggs or Waller's captain tonight to get contrarian from the Lamar lines. Yeah, so like a lot of people are going to play Lamar in the captain. Obviously, it looks really good, right? He's a guy that has rushing upside, good matchup. So if you're playing like large field tournaments and you do have Lamar in the captain, maybe try to get different somewhere else, right? Maybe leave some salary on the table. Maybe you play one super low-owned guy. There's still ways you can play Lamar in the captain and get different, but I think Ruggs and Waller are both fine options as well. I think Waller probably is going to be second in ownership for captain behind Lamar. Ruggs, the Raiders receivers, at least out wide, they don't love, or they didn't go to him a lot last year, but also Ruggs and Bryan Adams were a little bit banged up. So I think both have a little bit of upside too. I think leaning towards one, I think I'd rather go to Raiders receivers than Ravens receivers. So I think Raiders probably pass a little bit more, but both teams do like to run the ball, especially the Ravens. What's up, DK? What's going on, Samuel? And everyone, let's get this takedown. Yeah, we were, a few pitcher members yesterday were like one or like a half point away from a takedown last night. So hoping to keep it going. Ruggs or Waller is a great contrarian. Yeah, again, I think both guys have some upside. I think Waller is probably the guy that's next in ownership for captain behind Lamar Jackson. What's going on, Max? How's it going? Williams at captain. If you can go Tyson Williams in the captain, if you're confident he's going to get, majority of the touches, what I think is possible, again, this is the biggest unknown, right? So one thing I got wrong last slate for Sunday night show on slate was I thought it was going to be a pretty even split with Henderson and Sony Michel. It wasn't. It was literally Henderson just the bell cow back. So we don't know, right? There's a chance Tyson Williams plays 80, 90% of snaps. It's possible. I think most likely the outcome is maybe like a 60-40 split with him and Latavius, maybe a couple snaps for Trent Cannon. Lamar captain with Waller, Williams, Edwards, Tucker, Renfro. Yeah, definitely fine to leave 1,400 on the table. Don't feel like you have to use all your salary. Andrews captain, smart Mark Andrews. I think he's a little bit contrarian, but does have some upside. He is kind of Lamar Jackson's safety blanket, a guy I like going to in the red zone. Sammy Watkins, I'm kind of just neutral on. The Ravens don't pass the ball a ton. He's the number 2 wide receiver. Probably third in targets behind Mark Andrews and Hollywood Brown. So kind of just indifferent about him. Don't love it, don't hate it. So it comes down to picking between Waller and Andrews. You could technically play both if you want to. Thoughts on Josh Oliver? No, that's a good question. Actually, a really good question. He's someone that probably is going to be sub 1% owned or around 1%. And I actually like him as a contrarian play. If you guys followed my preseason content, you play Josh Oliver a lot. Now, he's a good receiving tight end. There's no Nick Boyle. Tomlinson is technically number 2 in the depth chart for the Ravens, but he's just a blocking tight end. He's not out there for pass catching, and the Ravens love working 2 tight ends. So I think Josh Oliver does play a little bit. Now, it's a risk. But he's the flat min price. He's going to be unowned. That could be one way to get different in tournaments. I like Josh Oliver's contrarian value play. I don't think anyone's going to play him. Fading Carr, what do you think? If I'm going to fade one of the quarterbacks, it's going to be Carr. But, yeah, he's definitely one of the safer plays in the slate. Yeah, Darren Waller, birthday narrative. Thoughts on Jacobs since he's active? I think it's fine. My one worry with Jacobs is he's not going to be involved too much in the passing down work. I think that's going to be more of Kenyon Drake's role. I guess a little bit of unknown, too, is like what's the workload going to be for both those guys? Is it going to be Jacobs all early down, or is Kenyon Drake going to mix in a little bit in the early down, too? So a little bit of a question mark there. Now the price for Jacobs is 8.4. So if he's not going to be involved in the passing game at all, then he's going to be kind of touchdown dependent. So if you play Josh Jacobs, you're probably going to need a touchdown. Not saying he's a bad play. I just think there's a little bit of risk there. Tyson Williams, captain. Yeah, again, if you're confident he gets a majority of the work, I think that's fine. Thoughts on Edwards? Brian Edwards, fine contrarian captain play. Yeah, I mean, you can go there. He'll be low on the captain. Thoughts on Hunter Renfro? I think Hunter Renfro is a pretty decent value play. He'll play out of the slot and probably play around half the game, maybe a little bit more. Now, at that price point, he doesn't need a ton to pay off the salary. So, yeah, probably looks like I think he looks like a pretty solid value. Thoughts on Lamar captain with Waller, Edwards, Tyson, Andrews, and Fanduel? That looks pretty solid. Am I wild for going Carr in the captain? Kind of. I'm just trying to think how that works. On a slate like this, like you're going to need Lamar to have a subpar game, or you're just going to need like a massive Derek Carr game and maybe for him to run in a touchdown, even though he's not really a running quarterback. So, again, anything could really happen in the show on slate, but like I'm just trying to think through my head how that would work. I don't love it. Tucker or Ruggs, last piece in, price doesn't matter. So Tucker's, I think, safer, but I think Ruggs is more upside. So it kind of depends how you want to play it, but kicker's always safe. But Ruggs is technically number one wide receiver, right? He's one on the depth chart, and he's, like 5K? So, yeah, Ruggs definitely has a lot more upside, but Tucker, I think, is a slightly safer option. New to Showdown, what's better, Tucker or Ravens defense? So, Tucker, yeah. If I'm going to a defense in the Showdown slate, I'm usually looking to, a game that might be lower scoring. This is projected to be higher scoring, 50.5, so usually I kind of cross off the defenses, so I'd rather go to Tucker. All right, guys, we're at 130 viewers, 28 likes. If you're just coming in, if you like this content, make sure to leave a like button on the live stream. I'll be live for a good another 20 minutes answering some questions here. 7.5K Renfro, 7K Edwards on FanDuel. I'll go Renfro, but it's close. Yeah, well, he's more expensive than Edwards. I would say Edwards is more upside. Renfro probably the safer play, right? Renfro is going to get targets out of the slot. I don't think he has a ton of upside. I think Edwards has a little more upside. He could probably break a long one. So Edwards, upside play. Renfro probably safer. Carr and captain is smart. It'll be contrarian. Again, I'm just trying to think out how that works. Like, he's going to need a really good passing game and probably might need a rushing touchdown too, and you need Lamar Jackson to have like a floor game for that to work. So you think Renfro captain can work? I think it's possible. It's, a team jam in approach, playing someone cheap in the captain. You can almost get whoever else you want in there. If he goes for like 6 catches, 60 yards, maybe a touchdown, that could definitely work. It's contrarian though for sure. You playing Lamar captain? I think he is the safest play. Yeah, definitely the safest play. Duvernay, a good cheap pick. He's the number 3 in the depth chart. Ravens don't love passing it, so like him and Sammy Watkins are just kind of like nah. Like Duvernay's cheaper. I think I would rather roll the dice actually in Duvernay than Sammy Watkins, because Duvernay's 2.6. Again, not a play I'm super confident in, but I think he plays. They like running 2 tight end slots a lot. Maybe about half the game for Duvernay, which makes him viable, but risky. Renfro viable as a captain. Yeah, again, I kind of just went over that, but I think it's doable. Ruggs captain with Lamar, or Lamar captain with Latavius. The Lamar captain's way safer one. Should I fade running backs? It kind of depends how you think the game goes, right? If you're, again, the Ravens running backs are, I guess the running backs in the slate are a little bit, the question marks, right? Raiders, how is that? How is the work going to be distributed? Is it going to be all Jacobs early down and just Drake on third down? Is Drake going to mix into? A little bit unknown there, and neither are super cheap. And then you have the Ravens running backs who it's like, we don't really know either. Obviously, a lot of guys got injured. Tyson Williams, technically number 1 on the depth chart. He's been on the team for a while, but they have Latavius, newly signed. They have Trenton Cannon, too. So they technically have 3 backs. So if you have like a strong take on running backs, then go with your gut, right? If you're confident Tyson Williams gets the majority of the work, then I think he looks like a solid play. But I'm not confident. I think there's a chance Murray gets a decent amount of work too, maybe some goal line touches. Murray's not going to. You don't think Murray gets any touches? You think Tyson Williams is going to be the bell cow? It's possible. It's possible. If I had to guess what happens, I think it's probably 60-40 Tyson Williams, Murray, maybe a little bit of Trenton Cannon mixed in. Ruggs or Edwards, pretty close. I think both are pretty similar plays. Both are priced about the same too. Ruggs, since he's number 1 on the depth chart, might get more ownership. So ownership, if you're taking ownership in consideration, Edwards probably is lower owned, so maybe lean to Edwards. But straight up not considering ownership, probably small lean to Ruggs. Thoughts on Hollywood Brown? Hollywood Brown's fine. Yeah, he's got a lot of upside. More of a boomer bust play, right? So he's coming in at, where's Hollywood Brown? 7-6. Yeah, he can break the slate. Hollywood Brown can go for 25 to 30 fantasy points. But he can also go for like 5 fantasy points. So he's more the high risk, high reward play, whereas Mark Andrews probably the safer play. So yeah, Hollywood Brown, definitely play for GPPs. I don't know if I go to him in a cash game setting though. Carr, captain, nobody will have him. Again, that would be the reason why you play him. I'm just trying to think how that works out. You need something really weird to happen. Thoughts on Hollywood? Again, good GPP play. He has got a lot of upside. So Hollywood Brown could break the slate. He can go for 120 yards and 2 touchdowns. He's got that breakaway speed, so I'm fine going him the captain for GPPs. Is Oliver your favorite $200 play? I think so. Let me just go down in the $200 range. So you have Oliver. Let's see. A lot of these guys aren't even on the roster. Like Prochet is the number 4 receiver for Baltimore. I guess that's viable. He probably gets a little bit of run. I think so. Again, it's a risk. It's a massive risk going to a guy like Josh Oliver, but he's a good receiving tight end. He got a lot of work in the preseason. He's number 3 in the depth chart. Tomlinson is above him, but Tomlinson's just going to be out there for blocking purposes. So I do think Oliver gets some look, some run, maybe like 30% of the snaps, 40%. So I think he's worth a look. It's not something I'm super confident in, but again, he is a good receiving tight end. Favorite captain? Yeah, so I'll go, like on Patreon, I talk about like my favorite captains and roster construction, where I think you should go for the slate if you're interested in something like that. What's your favorite? Let's see. What's your favorite NBA and NFL team? I'm from Michigan, so Lions, unfortunately, and the Pistons. Hollywood captain, yeah, that's got a lot of upside. Perfectly fine with that. The Swift thing at the right. Yeah, that was the hot take bros, man. I don't know. The hot take bros trigger me so much because they just tweet like 5+ hot takes a day. It's so annoying. Yeah, like DeAndre Swift, I guess, is the GOAT. He's the best player of all time. After 1 week, you should trade him for Najee Harris. I'm sure you can sense the sarcasm. All right, Ruggs or Watkins. Ruggs. Hollywood is going to be good. Watkins way better than Duvernay. Yeah, Hollywood, again, good GPP play. Same Watkins, kind of just fine. Again, Duvernay a little bit cheaper. I don't love either. If I'm making 10 FanDuel lineups and 5 with Waller, okay to put him in all of them. If I'm making 10 FanDuel lineups, is 5 with Waller okay or put him in all of them? 5's fine. You know, if I was building 10, I'd probably build a little bit more than 5 lineups with Waller, but that's okay. You don't have to play him in all of them. Tight end Oliver is going to make space for stud stay. Again, it's a high-risk play. I'm not saying to play Oliver. I'm just saying he's at least worth a look. He's their second best receiving tight end. Ravens love running 2 tight end sets. He played really well in the preseason, so those are the positives. Negatives are there's a chance he barely plays, and yeah, so high-risk play for sure. What's going on, Josh? Let's get it, man. Is it fine not to play any pass catchers for the Ravens? Yeah, you don't have to. Ravens are run first team. Play both Lamar and Carr. I think it's safe. Hard to go against someone with the name Rashard. Yeah, Jacobs in or out, he's in. All indications are he was in. They're like he's probable. Is active. Yeah. So that's one where like, yeah, he's dealing with an illness. If you think that limits him a little bit, then bump up Ken and Drake. Is it bad to play 5 Raiders and Lamar? Pretty contrarian. The way that works out, it could work. The way that works is like Lamar has like 2 or 3 rushing touchdowns, and he just like he does everything. He goes for like 200 through the air and like 100 yards on the ground and like 3 touchdowns, which is it's possible if Lamar just kind of does it all. So it could work out, but you need you're gonna need like a pretty weird game. Reverse line movement towards the Raiders. Is it 4? I think it was 4 yesterday too, wasn't it? Thoughts on Tylan Wallace? Tylan Wallace, is he on the depth chart? Okay, he's number 5 on the depth chart. I think it's getting a little bit too cute for me. Carr playable at captain. I probably wouldn't do it. Again, I've seen a couple of people want to do that though. Again, not really for me. Carr at the captain. And tight ends, cool. Both quarterbacks and tight ends, cool. Yeah. Both tight ends I think are pretty safe. Andrews like a security blanket for Lamar, and then Darren Waller is probably gonna get 10+ targets. You play all 3 of Renfro, Ruggs, and Waller. Yeah, I have no issue with that. Should I play both quarterbacks? It's the safe route. You don't have to. It's a safe route, though. Brown captain with Jackson, Waller, Andrews, Renfro, Carlson for contrarian lineup. Definitely contrarian, yeah. Snead, number 5, any playing time. Might get a little bit. Yeah, Willie Snead, revenge game narrative. He's number 5 on the depth chart. Is it possible he gets a little bit of work? Sure. But it's not something I feel really good about. Revenge game narrative, though, if you're into that. Both quarterbacks is what's going to be a receiver, a captain, possibly a kicker in the mix. So thoughts on Edwards, Jackson? Thoughts on Edwards, captain with Jackson, Waller, Carr. Again, contrarian lineup, but it's possible it could work out. Hollywood, Drake, or Murray. Hollywood is definitely the upside play there. Like, he for sure is the guy that has the most upside of that pairing. And either way, I'd probably go Hollywood, Brown of those three. We don't know how the Ravens are going to mix in the running backs. And we don't necessarily know Kenyon Drake's role. I think he's going to be the third down back, maybe mix in a little bit. But yeah, I think Hollywood is the answer in either format there. My book, you go 3.5. Okay. Edwards or Ruggs. Again, ownership, I think Edwards is probably a little bit lower owned. If we're not looking at ownership, it's probably Ruggs. But they're pretty similar plays to me. Thoughts on Tucker? Safe. One of the best kickers in the NFL. Ravens are favored, 50 plus over under. He's going to get opportunities. If he can get a field goal or two, there's a chance he could be in the winning lineup. So, yeah, I think Tucker's very safe. So, to score last 4 week ones, I believe. You never know. Yeah. I mean, I don't really like going off stats like that, but if you feel, I'm not like, if that's your gut, if you think Willie Snead's in the end zone again, then play him. Play him. I think he doesn't get enough action for me to consider him, but crazy things have happened, right? We've had third, fourth string tight ends score touchdowns. We've had really weird stuff in the Showdown. So if that's something you feel really good about, then go for it. Thoughts on Carr captain, Lamar Waller. Again, like Carr captain is very contrarian for me. I don't love doing it, but if that's something you feel really good about, again, I'm not going to talk you off it. Captain Brown, Hollywood Brown with Carr, Lamar, Oliver, Ruggs, and Waller. I think it's a good lineup. It's a high-risk, high-reward lineup, right? So you got Hollywood Brown, little boomer bust, but he's got a lot of upside. You're playing a Dart and Oliver, who obviously is a big risk too. And then everything else looks pretty solid in your lineup. That's your lineup. Yeah, it's a lineup I think is good, right? The upside is very high. The floor is very low. So, again, high-risk, high-reward lineup. Ruggs and Oliver or Renfro and Duvernay. Probably the first one. Renfro, I think, is a pretty safe value. I think he plays about half the game. So kind of game flow dependent. If they fall behind early, Renfro's going to play more. They're going to run more through 3 wide receiver sets. If they get off to an early lead, then Renfro probably loses some playing time. But either way, he's cheap enough that I think he does look like a solid value. Edwards or Ruggs, price doesn't matter. Again, if we're looking at ownership, I think Edwards is going to be lower owned. So ownership considerations, Edwards. If we weren't considering ownership, it's probably Ruggs. Again, I don't know a super strong take, though. I think they're very similar plays. I think Edwards is going to be lower owned is my guess because if you look at the depth chart, Ruggs is listed as the number 1, Edwards is the number 2, and Edwards is more pricey. So I think that's going to make Henry Ruggs more popular, and I think they're almost identical plays. Guys, we're at 150 viewers. Appreciate you guys coming to check it out. I'll be live for a good another 5 minutes or so. We're at almost 50 likes. Can we get to like 70 before the end of the show? Would really appreciate that. And if you enjoy, again, I'll be live for every single Showdown slate, every single main slate, so make sure to hit that subscribe button. Early look video will be up probably tonight for the week 2 main slate if that's something you're interested in as well. Let's see. Jackson, Waller. So you have Lamar Jackson, Waller, Brown, Oliver, Renfro, Carr. Thoughts? So Lamar in the cap with Waller, Hollywood Brown, Oliver, Renfro, Carr. Yeah, I like it. Again, Oliver is high risk, high reward play. He's going to be like, Josh Oliver's going to be like 0.5% or 1% owned. It's a big risk. It's a big risk, but I think it's at least worth a look. Hopefully they give Oliver a chance. Yeah, again, like, there's a chance Oliver barely plays, right? He's number 3 on the depth chart. What I think happens is I do think he gets a little bit of opportunity since he's their second best receiving tight end. Tomlinson more of the blocking tight end. So, like, maybe in passing down situations, he might be out there a little bit with Mark Andrews. Again, he showed his upside in the preseason, but that doesn't mean he's going to get a lot of work in week 1. It's a high-risk play for sure. For single entry, Jackson, Andrews, Hollywood, Renfro, Ruggs, and Tyson Williams. I think it's pretty safe. Yeah. Favorite Las Vegas play? I think it's Waller. You know, not looking at ownership. I think Waller is the guy that looks the best. Lots on 2 quarterbacks and 2 kickers tonight. Cash games, that's fine. GPPs, I don't think I want to play 2 kickers. Prize picks, let's see. Yeah, let's take a look at the prize pick board. So Ravens are a run-first team. Hollywood Brown and Mark Andrews are the clear top targets. Sammy Watkins at 10 feels a little bit high, so I think I'll lean to the under on Sammy Watkins. Again, my reasoning is Ravens love running the football. Love running the football. They're favorites here. If they do throw, they look a lot to Mark Andrews and Hollywood Brown. So I think I like the under on Sammy Watkins. Jackson captain with Waller, Renfro, Ruggs, Williams, and Watkins. That's fine. If Oliver puts up a 0, will it kill you? Not necessarily. If all the other guys smash for you. So, yeah, he's cheap enough where if he gets a 0, you're probably still alive. But again, high-risk play for sure. Captain Hollywood with Waller, Jackson, Ruggs, Carlson, and Williams. That's fine with me. Captain Jackson, Ruggs, Edwards, Tucker, Brown, Andrews, Slots. Looks pretty safe. Sign up for the Prize Picks today and use your code. Got over on Lamar Jackson. So you got over Lamar rushing, Edwards receptions, and Ruggs yards and Carr passing yards. Nice. Okay. Yeah, I think those are pretty solid. What's going on, Tori? Thank you. Appreciate it, man. Yeah, of course. Ruggs yards, though. Let's see. Captain Waller with Lamar, Andrews, Watkins, Tucker, and Renfro. Yeah, so like doing anything other than Lamar captain, I think you're going to have a somewhat unique lineup. But I do think Waller will probably be the second highest owned captain, but I think that's pretty solid. Ravens win big. You think so? I think it'll be pretty close. Odds and Lamar needing to take a dump 50%. Hasn't that happened twice, or was it only one time? Las Vegas kicker or Duvernay? Las Vegas kicker is much safer than Duvernay. Duvernay, I think, plays 40-50% of snaps. Now, Duvernay can catch a touchdown, so he maybe has a little more upside, but Las Vegas kicker, yeah, way safer. So, sorry, suffering from a cramp is what I meant. Oh, Mariota surprise entry win again. Yeah, playing the backup quarterback, that's a bold move. Latavius Murray or Watkins? I think Latavius gets a decent amount of work because the Ravens historically like working multiple running backs. But he's new. Like, this is... Again, we saw it happen to Sony Michel. I thought Sony Michel was getting a lot more work. He barely played. So is there a chance Latavius barely plays? Yes. I think Watkins has got to be the safer play. But, again, if I knew it was going to be a pretty even split, I would rather have Latavius. Renfro or Edwards on FanDuel. Again, I think Edwards probably has a little more upside. Renfro the safer play. Would you play both Edwards and Ruggs or just one? You can play both. You can definitely play both. Renfro or Carlson. Probably Renfro for the discount. Raiders kicker or Renfro. Yeah, probably Renfro. Is Tyson Williams a must play? No. I think he's probably the safest Raven running back. But there's also a chance they mix in the other two backs and it's kind of a three-headed monster. We don't know how it's going to work. Thoughts on Josh Jacobs for captain? Definitely contrarian. He's touchdown dependent, but it could work out. The Raiders get off to an early lead. They like running the ball. So, a Jacobs and the captain works out if, again, Raiders get off to an early lead. It's a lot of ground and pound. Might have to get in the end zone once or twice for that to work, since he's not going to be involved much in the pass game. Playable kickers with Jackson and Carr. It's safe. I don't know if it has that much upside though on GPPs. Is a game you would prioritize a kicker over low and wide receiver? This is a game. Kind of depends. The kickers are just much safer. I don't know if I prioritize them. I just saw something on ESPN about the whole poop situation. Yeah, it was a cramp needed. Captain Jackson with Waller, Brown, Watkins, Ruggs, Renfro. Looks fine. Tyson, again, probably the safest Ravens running back to target. All right, guys, we left one more minute. Last minute questions here. Appreciate you guys again. We're at 69 likes. Nice. Do you like Waller or Williams better for cash? Waller. Or do I force both in? You can definitely get both in, but I would prioritize Waller, because we don't know what the Ravens running back situation is going to be. My best guess is Tyson Williams probably gets more work, but they could work in Latavius. They could mix in Trent Cannon a little bit maybe. Waller or Jackson captain in GBP. It's still got to be Lamar for me. I think he's just the optimal play. Now, it's going to be popular, but if you do that, maybe get different somewhere else. Murray over 25.5 rushing yards. Waller over 25 receiving touchdowns. How best safe prize pick bet. Almost look pretty decent. Again, Hollywood Brown obviously has a lot of upside. He needs like one catch really to hit that over. Waller is a guy that love going to the red zone, and I do think Murray is mixed in today, but how much is in question. Tyson Williams, heavy workload today from the Ravens. So yeah, so again, all depends on how you think that game flows. If you think Tyson Williams is going to bell cow back, then he looks really good. I think Murray might get mixed in a bit, but we don't know. It's the big question mark on this slate. But that's going to do it for me, guys. Appreciate you coming to check out the live stream. And yeah, good luck tonight. Enjoy this game, and I'll see you back here for Thursday night Showdown slate. We have a barn burner, Giants versus Redskins with a backup quarterback. Should be a fun one. All right, I'll see you guys all on Thursday.